All right, John Ojaka here, and in this video, I want to introduce you to some powerful new features now available inside of your TunePipe account. I'm specifically talking about our new email automation triggers. What's an email automation trigger? Basically, when we set up our email automations, which of course is a series of pre-written emails that will go out at predefined intervals, we need to put a rule in place that tells the system when to send those emails and who to send them to. That's a trigger. And we've just added a number of new triggers that allow you to really create more advanced funnels that should result in a better customer experience and, more importantly, even more conversions. So let me walk you through it. To use this feature, you'd come to Email and Automations, you'd click Create New Automation, and you'd be taken to a screen that looks like this. And the first thing you'd see is this green box that says, click to edit your automation triggers. And of course, as you wanted to add emails, you'd come in here and click Send Email and, these kinds of things. But we're just focused on the trigger. So let's click that and let's click Add New Trigger. Now you'll see a number of triggers here because of course this feature's been here for a while, but you'll notice these 4 new triggers. One is order status changes, one is makes a purchase, and these two, which I'm particularly excited about, are clicks on a link in an email and opens an email. So let's start with the simpler of these, or the more straightforward of these triggers, and let's talk about some of the more advanced stuff you can do with the open and click triggers in a second. So first up is order status changes. So I'm sure you can think up dozens of ways that you might want to use these, but a more obvious example would be creating an email automation that goes out when someone's order status goes from pending to shipped. So we could come here to the drop down and we could select shipped. So order status changes to shipped, and you can apply this to all orders or just paid orders or just not paid orders, and you can trigger it for orders over a certain amount, trigger it for orders made with a specific discount code, which could come in handy if you're working with partners, for example, or you could trigger it for orders including a specific product. So you click that and then you could select a product and you'd see all of your products there and you could select one and confirm. So how would you use something like this? For example, you might just want to do all orders, and let's get rid of that, just all orders that have their order status changed to shipped. And then you might want to send out an email to everyone. So what this means is typically when we ship an order, we go into our store, we find the orders, we click the button, shipped. And that's just for our management of customers. But now we could set it up so that would start a new email automation that would go out immediately if you wanted it to, telling people that good news, your order's on its way, please allow 3 to 7 days. Then maybe a week later, another email goes out within that automation saying, hey, by now you should have received your order. If you didn't, let us know. If you did, let us know what you think. And then you could maybe click to a review page or a testimonial page where people could leave reviews, and then you could pull those quotes and use them in your marketing, so long as you inform people that you might do so. So you could do some really cool stuff there. You could, of course, follow up with additional promotions as well. So let's take a look at some of these other triggers. Another fairly straightforward one is makes a purchase. Now, we could already do this on the tag level, or by creating or by adding a tag on the product level. So when someone purchases something, a tag gets applied and that tag could trigger an automation. But now we can do it right here in our triggers, which gives us more control. So when somebody orders something, it's all the same options as the order status changed. We can select a product and we could say when someone orders, in this example, album title 1, I want this automation to fire, and we could follow up with emails, really tailored messages to talk to our customers about that specific product, and potentially follow up with a push for an additional product or additional promotion. So those two, I think, are pretty straightforward and make a lot of sense. But now we get into some of these more advanced triggers. Well, the triggers themselves, I suppose, are not advanced, but the applications potentially are, which are opens an email or clicks on a link in an email. Now, you could use these in an array of different sort of ways. But what I am most excited about is the ability to create really hyper fine-tuned funnels. So traditionally we create a funnel. This is of course a series of emails that go out to people at these predefined intervals. And maybe it's 6 emails, but they're going to go out to everyone at the same exact intervals, regardless of whether or not they're engaging with our content. So most of you are probably familiar with a deep sale funnel. That's sort of the stock standard funnel around here, which is designed to walk people through those well-established psychological states of awareness and interest and desire, to ultimately get them to convert. And for example, in the awareness stage of that process, we're sending people a free download. And then in the interest stage, we're typically sending people maybe a link to a blog post that tries to establish who we are and get them invested in our own values, show them that our values are similar to their own. In the desire phase of the project, we're using limited time promotions to, really trigger that sale or really make them want it now, because the terms we're offering are only available for a limited time, or maybe it's a scarcity-based promotion. If we do all of those things, we stand the best chance of making the conversion. And that's what we're all about here at TunePipe and in Music Marketing Manifesto, in my related programs. But again, as I say, traditionally, it's the same experience regardless of whether or not that prospect is engaging with emails. And it doesn't always make the most sense to go and send someone to a blog post or a music video or a promotion if they've never even downloaded the free track that you sent them. You need to get them to engage before you advance them in that awareness, interest, desire sort of hierarchy. So what you could do is, instead of having one email automation, you have 4 or 5 different email automations, an automation basically for each step of that traditional process. So the free download could become 3 or 4 emails saying, here's your download, another email the next day saying, hey, did you get your download? Another email the next day saying, hey, what'd you think of the download? In case you didn't get it yet, here's the link. These kinds of things, just to ensure that they have clicked. And then you'd have the next automation, which of course is that blog post, and that won't fire. The next automation won't fire until we know that they've clicked on that download link. Or if you want to be a little more liberal, at least until they've opened the previous email. So again, that open or click can be the trigger for the next email. Now, you'll also want to set some goals in place. You'll want to, in that second sequence, you want to have the first rule be to apply a tag, and that tag becomes the goal trigger for the previous funnel, so that the previous funnel will stop. They'll never see email 2 or 3 about that download once we know that they've downloaded it. And we'll know they've downloaded it because of the trigger we've put in place in the next funnel, which is clicking on that link. And by being added to that email automation, a tag gets added, and that tag becomes the goal for the previous one. Does that make sense? So you've got this kind of back and forth from between each step. They're both interconnected like that. And you could do that for each and every step. And one of the more powerful ones here is that limited time offer. So for more than a decade now, we really have just done the best we can. We're setting up automated real-time promotions, and we do that by using countdown timers that make a page expire based on certain intervals of time. And that timer starts when someone first clicks on that page. And then we send out emails saying, hey, I'm running this 3-day sale. Hey, you don't have a lot of time left. Hey, this is your last chance. And for the most part, that works really well. But sometimes it leads to less than ideal circumstances where maybe someone's busy or they're just not that engaged, and they don't click on the actual limited time offer sales page until maybe the 3rd email goes out. And so the email is implying that the sale is about to end, but they're getting there, and it looks like, based on the timer, that the sale's just begun. So what we could do is, much like in the first example, we split the entire LTO into 2 sequences. The first email telling them that there is a limited time offer on and it's going to expire soon, click here. And then a second funnel that becomes active once they click on that link, because when they click on that link, we know they've triggered the countdown timer. And then the next email automation can contain much more specific language saying the promotion is going to expire tomorrow and today is your last day, which will really help create that urgency and that desire and should really drive those conversions up. And you can only do that if you have the ability that we've just added to TunePipe. So there's not much like it out there that works this well. There are ways to do it with different programs. I've never seen anything that works as sort of well as this and is as sort of simplified as this. In other email marketing tools that I've used in the past, setting something like this up was such a spaghetti mess that I never even bothered to do it. But I think TunePipe makes it really easy. And I think a number of you are going to see a huge boost in conversions as a result of these two triggers alone. But again, you're not limited to that application. It doesn't need to be that advanced or complex, but you have the ability. And to use them, it's as simple as clicking here, opens an email. You'd select either campaign or automation. So yes, you can do it with either real-time broadcasts or the automated emails. You'd select automation. In this case, I don't have any automations in place. I'm in a test account, so there's nothing for me to select, but you'd see a list of your automations. And then when you clicked on one, you'd see a list of the emails and you'd select the email that you wanted to track the opens of. Same goes for clicks on an email. We've got select email type, campaign, and automation, and you'd see all of your campaigns and you'd use it that way. So that is how it works. I definitely want to hear from you guys once you start applying this stuff. I think a lot of you are really going to dig it and get a lot out of these new features. If you have any questions, just get in touch. Thanks very much. Take care.